What's up, everyone? Welcome to this episode of Over the Top Rope. As you can see, I've got someone beside of me today, and we're not doing this remotely. Mr. Dan Excellent. Mr. Excellent, how are you doing, man?
Great, man. It's good to be here. It's good to see you, Houston. You the man, bro.
Yeah, and he actually made the drive from Virginia, which is not exactly 15 minutes away from here. So I appreciate you making the drive.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate you taking the time to sit down and tell the fans a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely.
And so one of the first things I wanted to talk about was your ACW title reign. Let's talk about that and that run.
Great. And actually, I'm the longest ACW United States champion, and also the longest ACW television champion, in which I feuded with Pretty Boy Pat Friday, who was my arch rival nemesis. Very good wrestler.
Yeah.
So Eddie was a thorn in my flesh because we wrestled up and down the East Coast, and trying to make a name, trying to win the fans and things like that. Of course, it's all about the fans.
All about the fans.
That's why this is why it's very important. That's why I'm making this comeback. I have this saying now, if you read slamwrestling.net, there's a story where I've always stuck to stay in school, obey your parents, and say no to drugs. That's real, okay? It's very important that you stay in school because you must be educated. You must have some knowledge so that you can be a part and benefit this world in some sort of way. As an engineer, as a nurse, a doctor, of course we need leaders, right? So you have to be educated. You have to know what you're talking about, right? And also obey your parents. You always let's go back to staying in school. You must study and show yourself approved.
There's a key in there.
That's right. Also, you got obey your parents. That's very important. Everybody has to honor their mother and honor their father, right? And that's very, very important because your parents, your mom is the vessel, the reason why you come into this world. So it's very important that you obey them because they're the first teachers. And then, of course, what else? There's say no to drugs. Say no to drugs. Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, right? And that's very important. You should pollute your body up with stuff that's not good, that's going to make you sick or make you do things that's irrational.
Yeah.
So it's very important. So this comeback is very, very important because I went back. Mr. Excellent stayed in school. He went back and got his doctorate.
And you held gold. A lot of it, too.
Yes, absolutely. And also, the ACW title, I've always, and also the NDW title, United States title.
The United States,
also the IWA United States title.
Yeah.
ACW United States television title, and also the ACW United States title. A champion has to set the example in the community. So I've always thought that was very, very important.
I agree with that, and you have your heel champions who they come out, they get booed, they might do some questionable stuff in the ring, but at the same time they are an example.
Yes.
And I think that's a very important thing you touched on.
Very much so. Well, in the wrestling ring, people try to do what they have to do to win. Right?
Yeah.
But Mr. Excellent tries his best to do everything that's right. Fair play is the main thing. Kids, don't cheat. Okay, don't cheat. Always. It's okay to lose.
Yeah.
But you learn from your mistakes, from the loss. You train hard, study what you've done wrong, and then go back and do it again. Right?
Yeah. I can't think of a better way to put it. And it's you're putting yourself out there. You're in front of fans. You're in front of older people, younger people, and even somebody like me who's 34 years old. I see a champion and I'm just like, I want to be like them. And you got to set the example. And there are plenty despite what some people may think, there are plenty of successful champions who are drug-free.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And it's been a problem for years, and the reason why I say that, folks, and fans out there, is, you know, people have died and passed away and went on, you know, with the Lord and stuff. So I don't want to see anyone die prematurely. Of course, you've read all the tabloids, you've read all the history, and all the things of what happened to some of the greatest wrestlers in the world today, but somehow just fell off the wagon. And we're all not perfect, understand, right? But if you feel as though that you need help, right, in any kind of way, see a counselor, talk to someone, let someone know if there is suicide on your mind or anything like that. Talk to somebody, because life is very, very precious, very, very precious.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing, you know, also is we see these guys in the ring, you know, we see them meet and greet fans before and after the show. We see them on TV, you know, they come out and the crowd goes crazy, the crowd boos them, the crowd loves them, the crowd hates them. But things behind that curtain may not be as so they seem.
Right, exactly. So that's why it's important to have someone that's in your life that's going to be there, so someone that you can talk to and, you know, confining in one another is healing. You understand what I'm saying? So that's very, very important.
I'm glad you touched on that. I'm glad you brought that up, because I think it's one of the biggest issues in our society today is people afraid to ask for help, or people see someone in the ring or on TV and think their life's so great. I could never have that. I don't have that. What is this all worth? So I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm so glad that you brought that up. Like, it just like that. I've got a little bit of a soft spot for, you know, mental health in general, and it doesn't get brought up enough. And professional wrestlers, it's a real thing that they deal with, and yeah, I'm so glad you brought it up.
And also, I want to bring up, I want to pray for the families in Uvalde, Texas, and also up in Buffalo, New York. We're praying for, you know, the families, and my heart, and I'm speaking as a person, you know, that's in the sport of professional wrestling, that I'm here to, we all represent that, we all give our hearts to the families who are going through such a tough time, and also those families that have lost loved ones in Alabama, the Alabama shooting and things like that. So folks, you know, there's no need to use guns against each other, okay? You know, we're all here to serve a purpose in life, and that's, you know, we're all God's children, right? But we want to serve a purpose. We want to do good in our communities, right? We want to do good in our communities. We want to get along. That's why I love professional wrestling so much, because we get together as competitors. Yeah, we don't like each other in the ring and stuff like that. They're opponents. But you know, we're here. Without the other person, we can't give you the best performances in the competition there is without us there doing our jobs as professionals, right? So we need everybody to love one another and also enjoy. I mean, of course, you got your favorite wrestlers. Yep. You got, you know, you have the villains, you have the good guys, the bad guys, and it's okay for you to have your choice of whoever you want to cheer for, because we're here for you. We're here for you to win, right, and win belts and win championships and represent you as a people.
And we touched on that a little bit, you know, before we started recording, that you're for the fans, and this comeback is for the fans.
It's for the fans. It's for the fans. Like I said, I'm not done yet.
And that's what this whole interview is about, because you're not done yet. You're still ready to, you know, maybe bounce some heads off the mat and maybe win some more gold, because you can never have enough gold as a
never gonna have enough. I'm trying to win the world title. I'm trying to win more U.S. titles. I'm trying to win, hopefully one day, the Intercontinental title. I challenge all the promoters to allow me to come to your promotion and challenge the best of the best in the business today. Ring of Honor, NXT, the WWE, AEW. Okay, did I say Ring of Honor? Of course. Chris Hero, now brother, we was down at Dory Funk's training camp together way back in the 2000s maybe, I think 2000s. Actually, I've been to the camp several times. So I've, been school of professional wrestling, and also I've graduated also from the Dory Funk Junior's Funky Conservatory.
Yep, and that was, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to bring that up, because when you think of, legends and royal families in wrestling, so to speak, you can't leave out the Funk name when you bring those up.
Never, ever. The Funks, the Von Erichs, the Harley Races, of course, Ric Flair, of course, Phenomenal. Of course, you got Bret Hart, the Hart Foundation, all the Hart family, Stu Hart running the dungeon, amazing schools. The WCW power plant, unfortunately that folded.
Yeah.
It actually got started, was getting ready to start there. And it folded because me and Pez Watley was feuding a little bit.
Yep.
And Pez Watley is in heaven now with the Lord, but we had a strong feud for a minute there in the IWA and stuff. So, but was able to, and then the High Voltage. Remember High Voltage?
Oh, I remember High Voltage, yeah.
Rage and Chaos.
Yep.
I ain't forgot about y'all. Yeah. In the Battle Royal. Even the Yeti. Big Ron Studd.
Yeah.
Big Ron Studd, of course.
Yeah.
He has a vicious choke slam.
Oh, that's one of the moves done by the right person I would never want to be on the receiving end of.
Definitely don't want to. We wrestled, it was, I think myself and Pat Friday, we tag team up with, I think it was a Simmons guy.
Okay,
Simmons and Ron Studd, of course. I believe they ended up with a match. That was in High Point.
Yeah, High Point, that's a pretty hot spot for wrestling too.
Exactly.
There's right now I think there's 3 promotions running out of High Point.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And so maybe we can get you back in High Point and get some W's under you.
Have a strong fan base in North Carolina, and actually having also a strong fan base in Virginia as well.
Yeah, because like we mentioned before, you drove from Virginia to do this.
Yes, absolutely.
That's dedication, and I'm glad that we can help tell your story. And part of that story, we touched on a little bit before, is your feud with WWE Hall of Famer and Ricky Morton.
Yeah. We had a match in Tennessee, Kingsport, Tennessee.
Okay.
And of course, came out on the short end of the stick. And then of course, they had all the legends. Tracy Smothers.
Yep.
Tracy Smothers was there. You had guys like Bobby Eaton. Oh, Dory was there too.
Oh, okay,
yeah. Dory from. Also, Sweet Stan Lane. He cut all his hair off.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Pretty boy, right?
Pretty boy, yeah.
Heck of a wrestler, though. He was the one that actually, me as a martial artist, has a full appreciation of the super kick. The super kick is nothing more than the Taekwondo side kick.
Okay, yeah. But talk about the martial arts, mixed martial arts, and how that kind of ties in with wrestling, because now you're starting to see a lot more of the martial artists and mixed martial arts kind of transition their way to wrestling.
Well, see, actually, you got to give thanks to Japan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Japan is awesome. And Japan, of course, is the father of jiu-jitsu. Also, karate, there's a lot of styles for the Shotokan, Kyokushin, Shotokan. Also, other karate style, Ishinryu, and the list goes on and on. You have Aikido, and of of course, me, I have, you know, several black belts. Actually, exactly like 5.
Wow.
Of course, black belts in Muay Thai, Taekwondo, Judo Kwan, which is the WTF, World Taekwondo Federation.
Yeah.
Taekwondo, which has a Kukiwan certification, right?
Yeah.
Which that certification is out of Korea, Seoul,
Gotcha.
Korea. And then of course I have black belts in Shotokan, Karate, Hapkido, and also master instructor in Chinese Kung Fu. And I have to make mention, my classmate, my Kung Fu classmate, Robert Samuels, who played in movies, you gotta look him up. Robert said played in movies with Sammo Hung.
Yeah.
He knew guys like Gordon Liu, played in all these movies in China. Sammo Hung,
wow.
you know, everybody knows Sammo.
Yeah.
Sammo is not only Jackie Chan's best friend, but actually is a grandmaster in Chinese Kung Fu.
Wow.
So he, of course, Robert was like student number 1 because he was the first one in the Kung Fu school. I came to the Kung Fu school as the number 5 student.
Okay.
So we practiced Hungar, which is the 5 animal style, the 5 animals. And of course, also I practice other styles like Wing Chun and praying mantis, horse claw, and those type of things. So, but the martial arts has been very much a part of my life, just like because me being raised up as an only child, you read the story, I was raised up by my great aunt, but I call my great aunt my mother. That was my mother. My birth mother had me at the age of 17 years old. So my great aunt took me in because she wanted my birth mother to finish school.
Understandable. Yeah.
So,
You were just preaching on that as well earlier. Yeah.
Exactly, yes.
Going back to that one key. One of the 3 keys.
One of the 3, yes, absolutely. So I mean, it's very, very important. So you know, of course, bullying is bad in school. So you know, I had to go. I was a little guy.
Yeah.
And of course, I was a football. You know, played football. I was a track and field standout, and also a martial arts standout. You know, winning medals. And you know, of course, the ultra and executive divisions at the U.S. National Taekwondo National Championships. So won some titles there as well, state titles.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So there's a lot of the stuff. Box, did all kinds of stuff. You know, I'm a competitor. So I love football. I was originally a 400, 800 meter champion, also high school. Not only in high school, but also in college. The All NBAC indoor back in 1983. I told everybody my age. 1983 indoor 800 meter champion and former record holder.
Wow.
So sports, football, played some semi-professional football. So sports has always been part of life.
Yeah, and so you know, with you having all these avenues and all these routes, what was it that led you to professional wrestling to kind of not overtake all that, but kind of maybe, you know, everything else take a backseat to that?
It is fine. It's, you know, I wanted to always, I wanted to be famous. I wanted to get in the ring. Still, I didn't want to be forgotten. So I wanted to go into the sport of professional wrestling. And I still want to stay in the sport of professional wrestling. It's just that I had to take a break to make sure I had other things to be able to fall back on. You always have to have a plan B because we all get, you know, a little old one day. So thanks. So the professional wrestling, you know, I used to watch the Von Erichs, remember? Kurt the Hennigs, you know. Also, you know, Stu Hart and those people that are in the dungeon. Those guys in the AWA, Ric Flair. Let's go back to Pedro Morales. Let's go back to Gene Kiniski. Right. Let's go back to where we see Pedro, Chief J. Strongbow, Tony Gurria, right? And let's go up a little bit further. How about the Rockers? They paid their dues. You know, Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels, which is a hell of an athlete, right? And you had other folks. They inspired me. Randy Macho Man Savage.
Oh yeah.
Also, of course, Hulk Hogan, right? And of course, there were some issues with, and of course, as long as he is sincere about, things, forgiveness is the main thing.
Yeah.
So because he did, inspire young people, the prayers, the vitamins and things. He always wanted to lead people into the right direction and be an excellent role model.
Absolutely.
You see. So, yeah. And they inspire me. So my style basically is very scientific. I'm very scientific. I'm like the Dean Malenko. With the other sides, with the Dean Malenko. I get, of course, the high flying skills of, they used to, people used to say, I remind them of Argentina rocker, right?
Yeah.
But when we go further, I can do things that Rey Mysterio could do at his size, at my size.
Absolutely.
So, I'm a high flyer, so, we can wrestle on the ground, or we can become bogeys and mids, right?
Yeah.
So we can say, hey, look up in the sky. There's a bird. There's a plane. There's Mr. Excellent, right?
Look at
because
that.
the moonsault, and the launch, and other particular moves that I haven't particularly named yet are going to be executed in the ring when you see the new Mr. Excellent, right? Because now there's going to be some new moves with a touch of the wrestling, but also I'm going to have to go to the air. So. I got to go to the edge.
Yeah.
So that's.
So you've got some secret weapons that you can pull out if that war gets to the point.
Exactly. Got more and more secret weapons. Weapons that haven't even been actually unleashed yet. Oh. They were unleashed in Tampa, Florida, right? At Florida Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
Dory Funk. But here there's going to be some more. That and some. So you got to stay tuned and watch Mr. Excellent.
Just that right there is just enough reason to, if you see him on a card on a show, you got to go see him, because you may see something you've never seen before, or that the maybe past Mr. Excellent would not have brought out. So we got a little more tools in the tool bag if the situation.
Plenty of them, plenty tools. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, that has to be basically, of course, Ricky Nelson, I've wrestled him, I feuded with him.
Yeah. Ricky
Nelson, and of course, the Rick Links, and also, y'all heard of Rick Link, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Beastmaster.
Mm-hmm.
Had no idea that he beat Jerry Lawler for the title way back in the day. I
had no idea.
Yeah, he actually beat Jerry Lawler, for the title. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're getting a little bit of a history lesson here as well.
Exactly.
I'm a fan of it.
And of course, we bumped heads several times in Thomasville. So of course, yes. Oh, don't forget, Chris Mantell was very, very good. We battled for the NDW title several times. Central Davis was a heck of a match back in the day. Hell of a match there.
Yeah.
He's a maverick.
Oh, I got you.
Buck Mantell and Chris Mantell.
Yeah, we remember. I remember.
Yeah. And the Terminators, Johnny B and Junior.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
The Terminators.
I've heard of all these people.
Terminator 1 and Terminator 2.
Yeah. So with your comeback, is there somebody out there that if you could, lock up with them in the middle of the ring right now, you would take the chance to do it? Is there somebody kind of on the radar?
Absolutely. I want to wrestle the best in the world.
The best.
And that's anybody from Chris Daniels, the Fallen Angel. How about Brian Scott?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, well, Brian Scott. PCW. Yeah, brother. Yeah. So watch out, you got to lace up your boots because Mr. Excellent is coming. And you got other folks that are in these other organizations. Yeah, Diablo, I was a little jealous. Diablo, like I said, we're going to be two bigs, right? We're going to be two bigs like in Top Gun, brother.
Yes.
You got some high flying moves. You are a talent, and I've watched you in FTW.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
what's that? Yeah, that's the FTW with, of course, you know, we got the gentleman, the promoter there, I think LeBron.
Yeah.
He's a great promoter.
Yeah.
He's also a great wrestler too.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Firestar, no. Firestar,
yeah.
Firestar for there. Firestar, yes.
Yeah.
All these letters in my head.
Yeah.
Firestar is a great organization in this area.
It
and one of the,
Yes, it is.
one of the best schools. They really train these guys to be the best at their craft. And they're in shape.
Very much so. Yes, they are. Yeah.
Diablo, you gotta lace up your Bruce, brother. You know, the new generation, I need the new generation, I need the young guys, yeah. Of course, like I said, we'll be two migs, bro. Two migs, two bogeys, bro. You know.
I'd pay a lot of money to see it.
Definitely. Don't let me get behind you, bro, and get you on lock, right? Get you on lock. You might have to use one of your outstanding moves. Of course, you might get a lock on me, and I'll have to do one of my moves and get out of the way.
Well, yeah, one of those moves that maybe Mr. Excellence hasn't shown before.
Right,
yeah. And so, Mr. Excellence, let's talk about where that came from and how that came about. I mean, obviously it says you're excellent, but how did you get to the point of being excellent?
Well, basically, I try to do everything. Thank you very much, Dave. I try to be excellent in everything that I do, from teaching students mathematics, of course, and from just living my life every day as an excellent person, as an excellent gentleman, and also being an excellent wrestler. Because nobody can be perfect. You know, I would have loved to wrestle Kurt Mr. Perfect. I would have loved that. That would have been a heck of a match.
Yeah, good lord.
It would have been a great match because he's a great athlete. But remember, nobody's perfect. Only God is perfect.
Only God is perfect.
So I'm great at what I do, good at what I do, so I'm excellent at what I do.
I can live with that, yeah. So if you want to come see Mr. Excellent, throw out some moves, you know, maybe get a 1, 2, 3 in this comeback, then you've got to figure out a card he's on, you've got to search for him, you've got to find him on social media, and when you show up, you got to cheer for him. You've got to cheer for him. And maybe we could, you know, get a little extra high five bonus if somebody watches this and they can recite your 3 keys to success.
That's right.
Maybe get a high five and a handshake.
Maybe the teacher in the school can give him extra credit for knowing those 3 important points. Stay in the school, obeying the parents, and saying no to drugs.
Because I, you know, when I was in school, man, like I said, I'm 34 now. I graduated in 2006. And from kindergarten on up to the day we graduated, those 3 points were just driven into our heads that if you want to be successful, then these are 3 things that you will do that's going to get you to that catalyst. And there was a few other things along the way, but I just don't hear those 3 points much anymore. I'm not saying they're not out there, but I just don't hear them much anymore.
And it's very important, and it keeps you safe, and it keeps you in line with, you know, the golden rules, right?
Yeah.
Basically. So, I mean, if you don't want to go to college, you know, or the university, you can go to the community college. You can go to a trade school. But always, the great thing about Mr. Excellent always keeps on learning. I keep on learning moves, right? I will never stop at what I know. I always keep on learning more and more moves to get better. Always room for improvement. Self-awareness, self-improvement, right? This is what I'm talking to everybody, all the kids and grown-ups as well. It's very important to keep on going, keep on learning. We don't never stop learning, you keep on learning, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, because I think that's important. Like, even like you said, the adults too, you know, because the more you know, the more you grow. And it sounds so cliche, but, you know, you could learn something that, you know, will save you money down the road. You could learn something that you can help somebody else with, your neighbor with. And so the more you know, the more you're able to expand, the more people you meet, and you just can't go wrong by learning more.
Exactly. Very good. This is nice, man. This is good. This guy's good.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Over the Top Rope. Dan, I can't thank you enough. I appreciate you driving all this way to share your story and, you know, to give those 3 keys. Because I mean, personally, what I got away from this, and I learned something. And look, I learned something. And those 3 keys right there, I mean, you can take those and just run with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I appreciate you, and we'll look for you in the future if you're here in North Carolina,
right? And
you're, you know, within driving distance of all that. I'm
gonna
be at your show.
Exactly, man. I'll be able to come back on the show over the top. You know,
absolutely.
Come back to the show. If fans have any questions, if y'all request me to be back on the show, and you got questions that you want to ask, get in touch with him.
We'll ask him. And when, not if, we're not going to say if, but when you win some more gold, we'll have you back on, because that gold is going to make a wonderful conversation piece.
Absolutely.
Well, that's going to do it. I appreciate everybody that checked out this episode. We will see you on the next episode of Over the Top Rope.